Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans! It's another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and Ringside crew, you are in for a treat. This gentleman resides in the UK. He wrestles in a lot of fun places that I'm very familiar with, and I want you guys all to get familiar with him. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside podcast welcome to Scott the Hot Shot Clark. Welcome.
Yay. Thanks, Joe. Thank you for having me and inviting me onto your podcast. This is awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. So, if my American wrestling fans, mostly from the East Coast and all over the United States of America, if they're not familiar with Hotshot, if they're not familiar with you, Hotshot, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Scott the Hotshot Clark. I am a British wrestler, originally from Essex, which is a county in the eastern part of England, but I do wrestle in the world famous WAW in Norwich, which is where I reside now.
Awesome. So let's go back in your career, Scott. When did you get this love of professional wrestling? When was the first moment you knew you wanted to do this, or you loved it?
Oh man, I mean, I have to go back to when I was literally where you could literally fit in my hands when I was probably that size, because I hear stories like from my father all the time. When I was a baby, the only thing he could do to settle me down was to literally sit me in front of a TV with wrestling playing on a small TV. I mean, that was the only way he could get me to settle down. I was just mesmerized by it. He would put on tapes like the British Bulldog versus Bret the Hitman Hart, and ever since I was like 5 years old, I said I want to be a professional wrestler. And
Wow.
when my dad took me, I'm gonna have to remember. I think I was 11 at the time. My dad took me to my first wrestling show. Him and my brother, and I was I was starstruck because I saw all the wrestlers that I only saw on TV. It was Birmingham, I think May time. So just literally a few weeks after WrestleMania 20. And it was a long drive to that venue, but it was something me and my brother always wanted to do. And when we got there, I mean, I saw stars like Edge, Batista, Triple H, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, a long list of stars, and it just made me turn to my dad and tell him I'm doing this one day. And just fast forward a whole bunch of years, and next thing you know, I'm in the ring and sharing locker rooms with names I've only seen on the TV, and it's overwhelming.
Oh wow. So when did you find the school you train at, or did it take a while? Because I'm 41. I remember hearing about people finding about wrestling schools in these little chat rooms on the internet when the internet was just starting to be the thing. Or did you find it through a friend?
Well, I mean, I believe it or not, I didn't start my wrestling journey till I was only 26.
Wow.
32 now, and you know, because where I was in England, I mean, because we didn't have the benefit of the internet and not a lot of TV like channels back then. But but I did see a documentary. It was called Fighting with My Family.
Oh yeah.
It showed not the movie, but the documentary that inspired the movie. I watched that alongside with my dad, and I said, these are the people I want to train with
Mm.
the legendary Knight family. And I said, this is where I want to train with them. But I mean, my my parents did say, we're not driving you all the way to Norwich to train to be wrestling. So I did have to put that on pause for the time being.
Mm.
In which was a shame, but deep down it was always the thing I wanted to do. And
Awesome.
so I did other sports, like I did rugby, I did karate, because even though my gimmick in wrestling is karate based, but it is actually real. I'm a legit black belt in Kyokushin karate. And, it got me to places. I learned to fight. I gained confidence. I got better physically and mentally. And fast forward a few years, I got a job opportunity to that would move me to Norfolk, which is where Norwich is. And I thought to myself, hang on, that's where the Knights are. That's where WAW is. Maybe this is a chance for me to actually become a pro wrestler. And, the first moment I walked through their doors, well, funny enough, I went to a few of their shows to begin with. And I asked them, how can I start to train with you guys? And they just invited me to a one-on-one session with Zach Zodiac, which I knew about him for many years. And having my first session with him, literally, I hit my head and I got a concussion,
Oh no.
and which wasn't the best way to start off, but I was determined. I had what it takes, and you know, and and all the years went past. I mean, it's crazy how many matches I've had and many people I've gotten to work with in the ring. I mean, if you told me what I'd be doing now when I first started, no way I'd believe you.
First off, you would say you're an alien. You're not.
Yes.
You're, or you're a space, or you're a Marty McFly saying you're from the future. Like, how do you know that? Like, it's as you know, as the ringside crew all knows. Like, I've had like Princess. I've interviewed Annabelle. I've interviewed for the other gentleman's name. I apologize because he's probably watching this recording, going, Joe, where's my
No.
name? Yeah. What's that?
Oh, well, I do know a couple of Joes in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
Well, there are many Joes.
It's they stay. I guess they stay away from the name Joe because there was the old '90s Attitude Era guy that was like almost like he was a handsman talent. He was just Joe. I think that was just Joe. He was in WWE, and he was like if they announced his name and the fans actually cheered for him instead of like going, "This is the handsman talent." Oh, he's about to get destroyed. You can't cheer for him. He's about to
Wow.
get lit up. But he was popular. But you're wrestling at WAW, and what was your first match there? What was it your first match? What did it feel like to you?
My first match, wow. I mean, well, when I first started training, I mean, a couple months down the line, that's when the pandemic happened. So everything was shut down. I thought, wow, is this my is this my dream not going to happen before I even got started? But I mean, the Knights were determined to keep going, and we had our new performance center, and a couple months after they reopened that performance center, it was quite a quite a restricted fan show. I mean, lots of social distances as well. I was very impressed with how they handled it. We were allowed to run shows, but it was supposed to be COVID safe. Like everyone was a meter apart. There wasn't a lot of fans, but the first ever match I had was a Rumble match. And I literally lasted 3 minutes
Oh
before
no.
I was thrown over the top rope. But I could not explain how nervous I was to actually get to do it in front of a live crowd and come out to music. It was just, my God, my dream has come true.
Wow. That's cool that you got a chance to be in a Rumble, but it wasn't a very long appearance. But
Wasn't very long, no, but as time went on, I was in another Rumble, but then I got my first singles match, and it was literally the biggest guy on the roster.
ooh, what
So
happened?
I was I was destroyed.
Oh no.
But I loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I did exactly what I set myself out to do, and I finally got it.
Cool. That's cool to know that you actually had your first singles match, but you were destroyed. But after the match, when you went back to the locker room, like what was your vibe like? What were you thinking when you were sitting at your locker?
Ah, I mean, literally, I mean, the adrenaline was in my system for many hours after that match, and all the people backstage were very supportive. If I did everything that was required of me. I mean, I know they say, hey, it's all predetermined, but the guy I was working with, who is now a good friend of mine, and to this day, he said it was such a pleasure.
Awesome. Do you want to talk about some of your opponents you've had in your career that we were talking about before?
Oh, I could go on all day about certain opponents I've had in my career so far.
Okay.
But mean, tell me what opponents would you like to hear
Any of them.
about?
Just let's go on. Like I know, so my fans are like get familiar with like if they want to look up some of your matches. Like what matches would be the matches that you think that my American fans would want to be that would make them pop? Like what matches would you say? What would if you had to do a top 10 of the list of matches you've done in your career? What would be on that top 10 list?
Oh wow. I mean, top 10. I mean, uh, oh God.
We can go
Well,
higher. We can go higher than a 10. We
I
can go
mean,
higher.
I mean, I'll have to narrow it down, but I
Okay.
mean, my first high profile opponent was, um, well, some of your fans might know him. His name is Ricky Knight Jr.
Ooh.
RKJ. I mean, he was put in a gauntlet match that night, and I was one of the first to step up.
Oh wow.
I mean, again, the bosses were pleased with the work I put in, and they gave me this opportunity, which is pretty awesome because the week prior to that show, Ricky was wrestling probably the best in the world at that time, Will Ospreay.
Oh wow.
I mean, Will Ospreay, he's like killing it in America right now. Now, he was a big star in Japan back then, but I watched that match between them, and it was one of the best matches I've ever seen. And to step in the ring with Ricky Knight Jr. that night, for me, it was just incredible.
Oh wow.
So really, that was my first high profile opponent because, I mean, at such a young age, he is phenomenally talented. And, as time went on, I mean, I was like told I was going to be invited to do the British holiday camp scene, which is what British wrestling is famous for here. The holiday camps. I mean, that's where I learned a lot of my trades. How to sell, how to get the fans behind you, and I'm forever grateful for that. And I've had some fun matches. It's with fun people as well, and got to travel or with people as well. And I mean, a lot of and I've learned a lot of things traveling on the holiday camp circuit. So a few of those matches were probably in my top 10.
Oh wow. Awesome.
And also, I got the opportunity to have a match with probably one of the best wrestlers I've ever stepped in the ring with, which is Zach Knight, aka Zach Zodiac,
Mm.
the actual brother of WWE Paige, but she
Yeah.
is Soraya. Raya. But I've looked up to Zach ever since I started professional wrestling, and to finally get a match with him, my heart was racing when I found I was going to be stepping in the match
Oh
in
wow.
a ring with him. I mean, I can't really describe the feeling I was feeling. The closest thing I could possibly narrow it down to was a scene in Rocky 4 where Ivan Drago's making his entrance to the boxing ring. That's what it felt like facing Zach when he made his entrance down there. But oh, that Zach hit me with a load of moves I've never taken before, and I lost the match. But afterwards, Zach told me that to get that recognition and that respect from Zach, I mean, you know, gave me that extra push to keep going with it. And for that, I cannot thank him enough.
That's cool. Really cool that you had a chance to face like such a legendary family, within wrestling. It's like a lot of people don't give that family the credit they deserve because if you think
No,
about it, Scott, they've trained so many young talents like you and all the other ones that have come through or wrestle with WAW that you know what I mean? It's really crazy to think that you all in the UK are so lucky to have a chance to work and get like information from Soraya's mom and the brother
yes,
and am I right that you guys you guys have such a good teacher and
yes, we have many teachers in WAW, and honestly, a lot of the things I've learned from them, I mean, when I did my one-to-one sessions, I did many one-to-one sessions with Patrick, who is a nephew of the Knights, and he's a phenomenal talent. I've been in the ring with him many times, and I consider him my coach. If I'm being completely honest, because I mean, he was the one who, well, always had a good word to say about me, and I can't thank him enough for that. And when we have the training weekends, hence we have our top coaches, sweet Soraya Knight, Paige's mother. I mean, the knowledge she has of professional wrestling is unbelievable. And she may look a striking figure in the ring, and yes, she is terrifying, but she has a heart of gold, honestly. Lee and my other coach, Jason Cross. I mean, the stories he has to say, not just in British wrestling, but from when he traveled in Japan, in America. I mean, he could talk for days of the things he's learned. And many of the things I do in the ring today were taught by him. And and he influenced many stars that came out of WAW that have gone on to be signed by the big leagues.
Oh, wow. So for you, Scott, after a show, I know wrestling shows usually end really late because you guys have to take down the ring and all the chairs and put them back in the corners and everything like that. But what do you do after a show? Do you go home and eat dinner, or do you go out with the fellas and go out for some food?
Well, I mean, me, when I first started out, after a show, I mean, at the Performance Center, we're quite lucky because we can keep the show ring up so we don't have to take it down. All we have to do is restack the chairs. Everyone gets involved, which is brilliant. And everyone pulls together to try and make each show we put on memorable. Oh, but after a show, a lot of the guys would go out for something to eat, which I always tended to do when I first started out. We'd always talk about what happened through the duration of the show and all the funny areas that happened. But nowadays, I always have to get back home ASAP because my other half, my girlfriend, no, I've always got to come back so she knows I'm safe.
Yeah.
Safe. And I know that might sound a bit boring, but that's just something I do. And again, depending where we are, if we're doing shows on the road, we'd after the show stop at McDonald's and just overindulge ourselves.
So you said you go to McDonald's. What is that? What is your favorite thing you always get on the menu, or is it random sometimes when you go to McDonald's?
Oh, McDonald's! I could eat the whole menu. I always get something different every time. I always like to keep things fresh and interesting.
Yeah, that's me, but I'm hard. I there's a place here in the States that's in upstate New York. It's called Ben's Fresh, and they have their. This is why you got to come to the States. Definitely take a tour over here, Scott. There's Ben's Fresh is in upstate New York, It's a local chain. It's a local plant, like a local place, like only in that area. They are award-winning hamburgers. Their burgers are like best in New York State.
Wow.
Like, oh, dude, I have people that have never had their burgers and they get their burgers and they're just like blown away, like blown
That's
away.
that's incredible. I mean, you say I've got to get to the States. I mean, I would love nothing more because I've actually been to the States twice
Okay.
on just travel tours, and a lot of the some of the best food I had were not even like big chained restaurants. They were like just local restaurants,
Yep.
which was incredible. I mean, the first place I ever went to in the States was New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
Louisiana. And it was just down the road from the Superdome. Oh wait, was it the Superdome?
Yeah, I think it's called the Super. I think it's called the Superdome. I think it's called the Superdome.
But yeah, you could see that literally from the other side. It was this nice pizza place, and the pizza, it tasted incredible.
Mm.
Oh, I would love to have that again.
If you like fish in New Orleans, they have a po' boy sandwich. I'm allergic to shellfish, so I can't touch it. It's like shrimp and a bunch of other things, and then they have the like jambalaya. That's in the New Orleans. That's the trademark of jambalaya. It's like shrimp and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, can't touch it. It's like
Wow.
Hammer's song, "Can't touch this." That's me. Can't touch this. I'm be like, I'll have to sing it with the make me prosthesis of a puppet face. Can't touch this. Ah, my face. But that's cool that you got a chance to go to New Orleans. Was it for like a show that you got booked for, or you just were on a holiday or anything?
Well, funny enough, that was before I started my wrestling career, but I would very much love to go and do a few bookings in the US. US is on my list of places to get booked at.
Hmm. Yeah, I saw
Because
you. Oh, go on. Sorry, Scott. Go on.
because I do know many like wrestlers from the States that have come here, but have also gone back. People from Canada. I've even met people from Japan who have came well purely to experience the wrestling scene in the United Kingdom.
Mm. I've I've been dying to get over to the UK to like, you know, check it out because I've had a lot of people that I know, like Princess and Shorty and Kiara and all my wrestling buddies. They're all like, come to the UK," and I'm like, I'm trying. It's because everything with traveling now is a little difficult. You have to get the passport. You have to know where you're staying. You have to know how close it is to the venue. Like if I was gonna come to you guys, I would have to be like okay, the venue is here. Is there a hotel 5 miles away that I don't get nervous and I go the wrong direction? Will the Uber be able to pick me up and take me to the venue? Ah, and there's
So
two.
it can be stressful sometimes, but if you do ever get to come here, I mean, the wrestling atmosphere in the UK completely different to what you'd see in like professional wrestling out in the US of A.
Hmm.
I mean, I hear it from many people. The fans and the atmosphere in the UK is completely different.
Yep.
But again, I would love to experience a crowd in the US. I would love to experience a crowd in Japan.
It's something else. Like I as being an American that goes to independent wrestling shows, people ask me that question all the time, which they're WWE fans, and they're like, "How would you describe a indie crowd to a regular crowd, Joe?" And then I have to tell them this. I went to AEW Dynasty
Yes.
in Philadelphia. I might add, I had a Philly cheesesteak for the first time in Philadelphia.
Awesome.
Scott, oof, yummy. Ugh, it wasn't the
I have
cheap. Yeah.
I have been to Philly. I've had the legendary cheesesteaks. I was blown away.
But which location did you go to, Scott, to get the Philly
Oh,
cheesesteak?
God, so long ago, I literally cannot remember, but it was on this like marketplace
Okay.
place where I had it. I mean, I can't remember the locals that made it, but it goes to show that like just local just local like restaurants making like their own stuff from the like the high chained restaurants. I mean, you just taste the difference.
Yeah. I went to Oh Brother, and their meat is not like the ones you get at the Walmart in the freezer section. This is like prime rib, like
Oh, prime
you
rib.
could hear them in the back with the spatula, and the I'm just like, but looking at my friend like, oh man, we're about to feast. He's like, what do you mean, man? What's wrong? You okay? And I was like, I could hear them in the back with the spatula going in the back. I was dying. I was like, oh my god, we're about to eat like kings, dude.
Ah,
Really? That's
best
oh
way to
man.
be.
Slice of heaven, as I would call it. Slice
I
of
couldn't agree
heaven.
more.
I was like, praise the Lord. um, so before we go, Scott, Mr. Hot Shot, if my fans want to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
Well, on social media, I'm under Scott Art dash WAW dash Clark. I mean, I can send you the links if any of you guys want to follow me. I really appreciate everyone who follows me on Insta. I am very appreciative of everyone's support through this wrestling journey of mine.
Awesome. Awesome, dude. Do you if anybody wants to pick up any Scott Hotshot merch, if is there a store or do they have to go to the WAW like website?
Well, WAW do sell our merch at their website. I mean, at this present moment in time, I am working on new merch of mine, which I will be hopefully placing an order for them very soon.
Okay.
So keep an eye out.
Awesome, Scott. Before we go, if there was any kids that wanted to get into the business, what kind of advice would you have for them?
I'd say, I mean, it's quite cliche about, find a local wrestling school, listen to what they have to say, and just keep pushing forward with it. But me, I'd say, I mean, I didn't want to train with anyone else other than the Knights when I first saw how passionate they were about professional wrestling. And, you know, but once I became a man and I was able to move up here, which was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. I mean, I left my life behind and I chased my dream. So what I'd say is, if there is a particular person you want to train with, I mean, go to them, absorb everything they've got to teach you, and just work your butt off, because again, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it.
Okay. Scott, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Everybody, if you're in the UK, definitely look up the schedule for WAW. Find out if you could attend the show. Let them know. Tell them Joe Panther III sent you and Scott, Mr. Hotshot, sent you. I'm Joe Panther III,
I'm Scott the Hotshot Clark.
and we will catch you in the next one.